Hello, this is Samantha Nolan-Smith from the School of Visibility. How are you? So this one is for anybody who knows that they have people in their lives who maybe you have conversations with that are difficult or fraught at times. I hadn't particularly been working on this particular issue when I've been doing block clearing, but I had been doing work around being seen, being heard. I'd run a series with the Women Speaking Up students around being seen, being heard, being fully expressed. And then off the back of that, and we were doing that in the context of business, and, and we were looking at it through that lens. And then I had this interaction in my personal life, and I saw this incredible flow through to that part of my life, which often happens. People say to me, oh, what should I work on, personal stuff or business stuff? And I say, it doesn't really matter. Work, whatever's coming up for you, work on that, and there'll be flow through effects. So this is what happened. I have a friend in my life who, over the years, we've had lots of conversations. We both like to discuss and debate, and a lot of those have been very positive, very fruitful. And then over the last few years, I'd say sort of diverged a bit in our perspectives. And I noticed for a while that their value system and my value system weren't really in alignment. And some of those conversations became difficult because I would notice myself trying to explain further and further my perspective, hoping that they would see the logic of it or the rationale of it or whatever it might be and agree with me, or at least acknowledge the alternate perspective, even if they say, yes, I see it, but I don't hear it. Anyway, I saw this person recently, and a conversation came up in one of the areas that are controversial in this relationship. And I noticed that we were veering off into a territory where they were just shutting down. I was trying to just have an open conversation, reflecting on some things that I had watched on the television actually. And they just started to sort of shut down and get a bit defensive. And in that moment, I just finished what I was saying, the point that I was making, and then I just completely backed off and directed my attention elsewhere. And I thought about that afterwards, because a former version of me would have said, no, you needed to stick with the point, sort of try and convince these people. And when I sat with, well, what was going on there, I realized I don't need them to see me anymore. This whole thing has been about getting them to see me. And in asking them to acknowledge my perspective, what I've really been saying is, could you please see me, see my values, see what I'm saying matters? Because if you're rejecting that, it feels like you're rejecting me. And I realized I don't need that from them anymore. And that all came from doing this work around, I need to be seen, I need to be heard, I need to be fully expressed. This was the work we were doing inside Women Speaking Up. And as I said, we were doing it in the context of business, but the flow-on effect was this capacity to just sit with someone who doesn't hold the same opinions as me, and not to need them to see me, just to coexist in the same spaces and to recognize that's where they are. That's their perspective on things. That's where they are on their journey. Me trying to get them to see another perspective hasn't actually changed their opinion. And it has upset me because I have felt like I'm not seen. And then bringing that healing to myself around feeling fully seen, not needing to be seen from somebody outside of myself, has meant that I have then just been able to sit in that space, acknowledge, I don't agree with that perspective. I find it disturbing, but I don't need you to see me anymore either. I'm just going to focus my attention elsewhere. So I just wanted to share that with you because it is so beautiful to be in the place of understanding that so many of these conversations, so many of these controversial discussions, these things that can break apart friendships or families or whatever, the core of it is what we're really saying is, why don't you see me? And we can continue to sort of bash our head against a wall, trying to get somebody to see you who doesn't have the capacity to see in the way that you want them to. Or we can do our own work on ourselves, give ourselves the gift of feeling seen and heard, and then go through life much happier. So if that sounds like something that would be helpful to you, we have Women Speaking Up open for just another week or so, and then we're closing it off, and that is the last cohort that we're running for this particular program. We will do block clearing work of this nature inside the program. We work on strategy, we work on habits, and we work on block clearing. And as I said, that will benefit your business, but it will also benefit your life.